Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There is a very big monster in President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga's den ahead of 2022 general election. And if that monster is not going to be managed well, then President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga should forget about winning 2022 general election. In this video today, I want us to look at this monster, or do I call them monsters, which are lurking within President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga's den. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, Raila Amolo Odinga has contested for the presidency 4 times. This is going to be his 5th time. President Uhuru Kenyatta contested for the presidency in 2002 and he lost. In 2007, he never contested. Then President Uhuru Kenyatta again contested in 2013 and he won. And for the first time in the history of this republic, we are witnessing an opposition candidate going into an election as a deep state candidate. And you are also witnessing a situation where the man who ought to be enjoying the deep state support, who is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, is getting into this election as an outsider. And of course, William Ruto is the front runner, or has been the front runner, but Raila Odinga and his supporters believe that he doesn't really need anything. He only needed the support of the deep state, because his support base is intact, because the support is getting from the president is enough, and therefore they're only waiting for the day to vote. But there is a monster. There are several monsters within President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga's den. And if they don't manage the monsters well, then they should forget about the presidency. The first thing which is really lacking, which is really the first monster, is what I call the joint nominations. Now, what do I mean? I just want to illustrate. In Nairobi, at the Senate, for the Senate, Edwin Sifuna wants to become the Senate of Nairobi. Maina Kamanda wants to become the Senate of Nairobi. Governor Tim Wanyonyi wants to become the governor for Nairobi. Richard Ngatia wants to become the governor of Nairobi. Then this other lady, Kagure, also wants to become the governor of Nairobi. So how are they going to manage the nominations? Is it going to be joint? Or is each political party going to nominate their candidate? And how will that impact on the overall Azimio politics? I foresee a problem and I foresee a trouble. For example, it is my considered opinion that for President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga to succeed, they need to figure out how they are going to manage these nominations, because apart from just winning the presidency, they also need the numbers in parliament. Because I'm foreseeing a situation where we are going to have serious politics in parliament after the elections. So they need to make sure they have the numbers. If, for example, in the Nairobi gubernatorial race, they mess, so that we have Tim Wanyonyi running on ODM, Richard Ngatia running on Jubilee, then UDA fronts a single candidate, they'll have trouble. They'll have trouble there. So these guys will have to figure out how they're going to conduct joint nominations, or whether some parties are going to agree that in this area, if you failed this candidate, you don't fail this. If not well managed, that joint nominations is going to lead to apathy, it's going to lead to rebellion, and it's going to lead to so many things. So that's the first monster which is lacking in President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga's den. The second monster, and very few people are talking about it, is post 2022 political schemes. Everybody is scheming. Raila Odinga is going to be a transitional president, according to those who are pushing for his bid. A transitional president means it's just going to be a stopgap, so that Uhuru Kenyatta will continue scheming for his succession politics. And in fact, it is this post-2022 politics which is derailing the Azimio la Umoja's unity, which is still derailing One Kenya Alliance leadership from joining the Azimio movement. It is this post-2022 politics which is making it very difficult to identify a running mate. And it is this post-2022 politics which also made Stephen Kalonzo Musalia Mudavadi and Weta to join William Samoei Arap Ruto. The truth of the matter is that within ODM party, they believe that Raila Odinga can go for 2 terms. On the other side, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his team believes that Raila Odinga will only be a transitional president. How are they going to marry those conflicting interests? So the truth of the matter is that post-2022 schemes are likely to derail Raila Odinga's bid. Peter Munya, Peter Kenneth, who should be the running mate? So that choice will depend on post-2022. The third monster is the Mount Kenya equation. You see, if Raila Odinga were to get 50%, if he was sure of 50% as we speak in the larger Mount Kenya region, he would stop campaigning. But in real sense, what is the percentage of Raila Odingas as we speak now in the larger Mount Kenya region? Is it 20? Is it 30? Of course, it has increased from 2% in the last election. But Raila Odinga needs 40% so that it can cover for other regions. Like if, for example, there are people who supported him in Western Kenya are now on the other side, the Mount Kenya equation, Raila needs to know, Uhuru Kenyatta needs to know their percentage. And this is being complicated by William Ruto. William Ruto, as we speak, is doing everything possible toward any moves by the president to penetrate the larger Mount Kenya region. And you know, politics about interest. The aspirants have already taken positions. So majority are in UDA because UDA is the dominant party as we speak. So generally, I tend to think that the president ventured into the larger Mount Kenya region a bit late. He ought to have done that a bit earlier. So the Mount Kenya equation can actually make or break Raila Amolo Odinga. Politics is a game of perception. Of course, there are gains, like my next video is going to be about that mythical tourist incident in Meru, where he was shouted down because the residents are now pro-Azimio. But the truth of the matter is that the Mount Kenya equation is something which the president must deal with decisively if he wants Raila Odinga to become the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And just like Amason Kingi reminded him, the moment they will be defeated, the first person William Ruto and his team will go for will be none other than the president himself. So he must deal with the Mount Kenya equation. The fourth monster is what I call the running mate dilemma. I've always opined here that the choice of the running mate will also determine the 2022 politics. Peter Kenneth, because it's now narrowed down, it's now narrowing down, in my view, to 4 people. Peter Kenneth and Peter Munya from Azimio. And if One Kenya Alliance were to join, and that's the demand they are putting, then we are looking at Martha Karua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. The choice of a running mate should be someone who has the ability, the capacity, and the potential of attracting funding. Of course, most of them can. should have the ability to campaign in the absence of the presidential candidate. Like right now, the deputy president is not here, he's outside the country, but you see, they're just trying. There's nobody who is really taking charge of that campaign. So it should be someone who should be able to lead campaigns, even in the absence of Raila. Should be someone who will be able to bring real numbers. And that's why in most cases, I've always believed that Peter Munya and Kalonzo Musyoka can bring real numbers. If Peter Munya is nominated, he can consolidate the Meru region, Tharaka Nithi, and a bit of Mount Kenya. He can bring like 1.8 or 2 million votes. So the choice of this running mate is going to play a role. So if Raila and Uhuru are going to miss the point by picking someone who will not deliver, then it's going to be a big problem, in my view, for the dynamic duo. Number 3 is the number 5, sorry, is the One Kenya Alliance. You know, William Ruto managed to split One Kenya Alliance leadership into 2. As we speak, you can't tell where Kalonzo is, whether he's going to run for the presidency, whether he's going to support Raila Odinga, or whether he's even contemplating joining William Samoei Arap Ruto. If One Kenya Alliance were to join Ruto today, then the equation for Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta are going to be messed up big time. So they must ensure that these gentlemen are with them. But these gentlemen are also piling a lot of pressure. They are putting very tough conditions to be met. And whether those conditions can be met is something which only a matter of time can tell. So the truth of the matter is that the biggest monster now facing Uhuru and Raila is how to convince One Kenya Alliance to join them. And how many days are left? Very few days. Number 6, the sixth monster, in my view, is the zoning, the idea of zoning. We have the Azimio la Umoja, right? Let me use the case of coast. In the coastal region, there is Pan-African Alliance, PA, headed by Amason Kingi. That party is saying that we want to support Azimio, but our party should be allowed to front, especially in Kilifi, all seats. ODM as a political party believes that Kilifi is one of their strongholds. ODM has its one of the deputy party leader from the coastal region, Hassan Joho, who believes that he can also deliver. But there is the emergence of these other small parties and also the emergence of UDA in the coastal region. So which means in Kilifi, for example, if you have PAC of sponsoring a candidate, ODM sponsoring a candidate, and UDA sponsoring a candidate, then the equation might be complex. So the idea of zoning is good, but how will they manage it? Or do they just focus on the presidency so that the Pan-African Party, PA of Amason King is told, okay, we will sponsor your candidates. ODM sponsor your candidates there. Jubilee sponsor your candidates. Let those candidates mop up votes and bring the votes on the table. That will be good for the presidential candidate. But what about parliament? Because the next battle is going to be parliament after the next election. If Raila is elected, William Ruto will attempt to impeach him. If Raila Odinga is elected, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga will attempt to change the constitution so that President Uhuru Kenyatta can make a comeback as a prime minister. And lastly is the mistrust. You know, if you were to ask President Uhuru Kenyatta, or if you were to give the president the leeway to choose whoever he wants to be his successor, Raila Odinga will not be the top. So President Uhuru Kenyatta is actually supporting Raila Odinga because Raila Odinga is the only person who can help him defeat the deputy president. And of course, because of the handshake, they've now learned each other. Their allies don't trust each other. They're looking at each other with suspicion. That's why, for example, in Turkana, there's Muñez and the ODM vice chairman, both competing for the gubernatorial seat there. While we know William Ruto is also there with his candidate. So if this ODM guy and Jubilee guy were to split votes, what will happen? Yeah. So in my view, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga must deal decisively with these 7 monsters. Let me just repeat them. The joint nominations. Number 2, the post-elections, the post-2022 schemes. Number 3, the Mount Kenya equation. They must win Mount Kenya. The running mate dilemma. Who will they choose as their running mate? One Kenya Alliance movement. They must go to the bank, break the bank, and take money to Kalonzo. Number 6 is the zoning. Which political party will field candidates here, there, and there? And lastly, they must deal with mistrust. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Again, for those who are watching for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button now so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. To the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys from the bottom of my heart. The request I make is give this video a thumbs up, drop your comments, share it. I'll be here watching and reading the comments. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.